Welcome to season 3 of The Good, the Bad, the Family. Join me today as I start off this new year and this new season talking about New Year's goals, how we can honor our true self, and how do we transform into the best version of ourselves. I'm Annalise Lucero, and this is The Good, the Bad, the Family. Welcome back to season 3, an exciting new year, 2022, and full of possibilities. I think there's always a temptation to start a new year by refreshing ourselves, creating resolutions, and resolving something at the beginning of the year. I can recall many times when friends and family members have posted on their social media, "New year, new me," with their resolution and a list of all their goals. And it's definitely an exciting time. And I feel motivated and ready to grow and change and become the best version of myself. This year, I found myself asking the question, why do I always fail at meeting my New Year goals? I'm sure I'm not the only person who's started the year off full of hope, full of excitement, ready to create this list and meet all of the tasks on the list for our New Year's resolutions. And by maybe the end of January, middle of February, it just doesn't happen. I don't really have an answer for why I'm not meeting those goals, and something I definitely want to reflect on more this year. But it got me thinking about the strong desire I myself and many, many people have to become something new, to become someone new. What happens to that old person, the person that I was at midnight on January 31st, shouting and cheering, "Happy New Year"? Is that person gone? Are they just like old news, yesterday's garbage, ready to be tossed out? And now I have to make room for this newer, more exciting me, healthier me, maybe worthier me, something that I need to have an answer for. I need to understand better is my desire to be new, to be better, to be, I don't know, successful. I like being successful and I like having a drive and a desire. But somehow at New Year's, it always feels like different. It's not about being successful. It's about being better. It's about meeting some kind of expectation. And I think striving to become somebody new, can leave us feeling empty, unmotivated, and often stuck. And maybe that's why when it's middle of February and we haven't made our New Year's resolution stick, maybe it's because we're trying to be somebody that we're not. I think we just can't ever actually become someone new. We become a new version of ourself. The seed that started the tree is always a part of the tree. It didn't suddenly become a new tree. Instead, it grew and it transformed. So when we think about ourselves in relation to this metaphor, right? We are never away from the seed. We are never separated from the seed. We grow from the seed and we take in information and experiences and relationships and connections, and we grow from that. But we were always the seed. We never became a new tree. I wasn't an aspen, and then this year now I'm a fir. I don't know anything about trees. So honestly, that's kind of where that metaphor ends for me. But I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say, which is that we transform. So how can we honor what we've grown from and celebrate what we're growing into? I think with growth comes change. With change comes some loss. We're losing old ways, even if they were harmful or unhealthy. When we change, we still lose those ways. And with loss, big or small, there is always grief. And with grief, there can be amazing transformation. So I don't think this is to say that our New Year goals aren't being met because we're not spending the first week of our New Year crying in bed over not being able to eat carbs anymore. Like, I don't think that's the grief I'm talking about. Instead, I think of it as a way of honoring that eating carbs can be attached to so many moments in our life, special and meaningful. And by not eating carbs and choosing that as maybe our New Year's resolution, we are losing the possibility of the moments that eating carbs can be attached to. I mean, maybe it's not eating carbs for you, right? Like, it can be other things. It's just amazing that having an awareness of what is attached to the loss that comes from creating a new life, having that awareness and honoring it can help us to understand that it served us then and it's no longer serving us now. So if it's not giving up carbs, maybe it's setting healthy boundaries. And what are we giving up when we set healthy boundaries? And what can we do to honor for ourselves and process and heal from that so we can transform? I've committed to some things in 2022, and I hope by sharing them, it might give my listeners, which I always joke, like my 5 listeners. I don't know how many listeners I have. And that is a goal I have in 2022, is to be kind of more, I guess, on top of the business and professional side of this, to grow my podcast and my I guess social media self. But I want to share with you some of the things that I've committed to and have that conversation around what it is that I'm giving up, the loss that's attached to it, and then the outcome that can come from that transformation. And if you go to my website and you see on my blog, I have kind of like a little visual image of what I'm talking about, and it might help you to do this exercises too. But ask yourself, what's my goal, right? Like, what's my resolution, my New Year's goal? What's my loss? Because with that change to reach that goal, there comes loss. And how will I be transformed by trying to reach this goal? So my first goal for 2022 is very much time management, like having successful and healthy time management skills. And I know I'll be losing time that I spend that's not necessarily like functioning towards any of my other goals. So maybe like sleeping in. I love to sleep in, and having better time management will require me to get up and make use of that time. I think I'll be losing some of that mindless scroll time on social media or TikTok, and I'll be losing time that I give to others, which helps me to feel needed and validated because I show up for a lot of people in my life. But often it is at the cost of my own time. And I think if I really want to be successful at prioritizing my business goals and my personal goals with health and fitness and mental health, I have to reevaluate how I spend my time and make the most use of my time. So I'm really committing to time management with the understanding that I'm giving up some of the things that have brought me comfort, like sleeping in, and I'm giving up some of the things that have helped me to feel needed, maybe in an unhealthy, codependent way. And that in order to be successful at managing my time, I have to address those things. I have to replace that time I would sleep in with something that will bring me comfort. I know my husband would just be laughing at me right now if he heard me talking about waking up early. And I just don't think that's me. Like, I'm not going to be waking up at 4 a.m. when he gets up to go to the gym and work out. My morning is not, it just won't be like that. If I can wake up and I can commit to doing something maybe like reading, which is another goal, reading more, and I can still lay in bed and read, right? I'm not sleeping in, but I'm not getting up either. I think the point of this is to try to understand that it's not just black and white. It's not just my resolution is time management and I'm going to use my time better. And then I'm going to go to my calendar and put all these events in my calendar and try to get to them. No, I think it's like a deeper kind of process of understanding, how do I, as myself, Annalise, fit into these resolutions and these goals? Because if I'm trying to be somebody else, somebody new, I will fail because I have to be me. And this is me. I like sleeping in. I need to make better use of my time. I can't sleep in till 10 minutes before I have to make lunch and take the kids to school. So if I can get up, have my cup of coffee, read some interesting articles or blog posts or books and start my day that way, that might be a more realistic commitment than waking up at 4 a.m. and going to the gym. I really don't want to do that. And even the idea of it is making me cringe right now. So I'm not even going to entertain that idea. But the next step in this process of understanding ourselves in relation to our goals is, how will I be transformed? And for me, I truly believe I will be more present in the moment. I will gain a better awareness on how I am experiencing present moments. I will also gain power and control over my decision making. And I'm very optimistic that better time management will help me reach my business goals. And 2022, I am really focusing on myself as a professional woman in the world. And it starts with me having better time management at 6 a.m. I'm going to do it. I'm committed. Another goal that I have, and it's something that I did kind of before the pandemic started in 2020, and I've had very big ups and downs with it, but is to eat more plant-based foods. And this goal is something that I'm re-engaging in my life because I know that it helps me. But I also am very realistic that eating more plant-based foods will require me to give up some comfort and easy foods that I have welcomed back into my life. And I will be losing time with prepping food, because eating healthy, eating plant-based foods requires a little bit more prep. And I think it's also challenging that side of me that is a people-pleasing side. And that is also like the time management thing. I really like to help people, and I like to feel needed and valuable and useful. But I also really like to be easy, and I want to be an easy eater a lot of the time. And so if I want to be successful at this goal, that's a part of myself that I'm recognizing I need to grow from. I need to lose some of those desires that I have to be easy, because it's more important to me to be as successful at eating healthy and eating the way that I know I need to eat. And a part of that is accepting that I can't please everybody, which is very hard for me to accept. I want everyone to feel comfortable and like they did a good job. And it's very hard to say no to somebody when they're offering you something they cooked and it has a lot of cheese in it. One, because I like cheese, but more importantly, I don't want to say no to somebody when they've done something nice for me, even though I know it'll have consequences later. So that's a loss for me. And grieving that part of me is important to my growth and to my ability to reach my goals. But I know in the process of honoring that, I will transform and I will be gaining so much energy eating healthier gives me a lot more energy, and I know I'll be sleeping better, which again will give me more energy. And I think it will really increase my mental health functioning, because one, I'll be sleeping better, but also I will not be distracted by some of the gut issues I have, and like having reflux and GERD. It can be just like very distracting and take you out of the present moment. Um, and I also think that I will be gaining healthier boundaries with family and friends that foster my own like self differentiation and self growth. Um, I'm I like am talking about it and smiling and feeling very hopeful that this is something I can achieve. And I know that it will require me to honor that part of myself that wants to please people, but also to celebrate that I have bigger goals for myself than making everyone in the world happy, because that's just not realistic. And that is a road that I know leads to nowhere, but misery and disappointment. So let's not do that in 2022. And those are just two goals that I have that I wanted to share. There are like little mini goals inside all of that I can kind of go through. But I think my hope is that talking about it in this way helps you to understand maybe better understand yourself in relationship to the goals that you're making, because it's not black and white. It's not this flat thing that we experience. New Year's resolutions are like so common. Everybody talks about it. Hashtag New Year's resolution. I've been putting that on every social media post that I've been making this week. It's kind of obnoxious and cliche, but we do it. And what better time to do something new than at a new year? I always say though, you don't wait for Monday. Like you can try the new thing now. You can start the new thing now. But so if you didn't make a New Year's resolution or have New Year's goals, maybe this is the sign that you should, or that you can if you want to, and think about it as a transformation and not changing who you are, but really helping yourself to grow into the person that you dream of becoming, the person that you're capable of becoming. I don't know. I'm feeling really optimistic, even though I know around me are like little fires happening everywhere, air quote fires. I know COVID is coming back with a vengeance, and work has been very stressful. Some of my coworkers and I have been talking about how heavy everything seems right now with clients. But I don't know. I just feel optimistic. I feel like we're about to launch off. Like when a rocket launches, it's like all that fire and heat and vibration, and it feels kind of scary and intimidating. I've never been in a rocket launch, but I imagine it feels scary and intimidating, and like you can either explode or you can launch off into outer space and experience something amazing. I'm optimistic. I feel like we're about ready to launch off into something exciting. But I also want to be grounded. I want to ground myself, and I want to prepare myself to be successful. And so I hope that listening to this podcast has inspired you, encouraged you, and I really think this is going to be a great year. And I'm super excited to start season 3. Woo! Holy cow! Can't believe I'm saying it. Season 3 of my podcast. I'm going to cry because I'm so excited. This year's going to be great. And if it's not great for you, that's okay too. I'm here to support you and your family and your friends through whatever 2022 has to offer. I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to be talking about this stuff. And I'm very hopeful and optimistic that this year is going to be a year of transformation. I hope you enjoyed the podcast today, and I look forward to bringing you a lot more content this year. If you want to hear more from The Good, the Bad, the Family, please subscribe. Or you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @aluceromft. Thanks for listening. I'm a licensed and trained marriage and family therapist, but this podcast is not a replacement for therapeutic advice. If you need help finding a therapist, visit psychologytoday.com to find a therapist in your area.